Welcome to this episode of the EDJ Whitetails, October 22nd. It's about 4:30, a little bit before 4:30. And we're headed in. As you can maybe tell, it's windy. Maybe you can't tell, but we're going to get things rolling here, and we're going to sit for the evening. We're going into the food plot again. Welcome to the EDJ Whitetails. All right, welcome back. Like I said, October 22nd, we had a cold front come through, as you saw the other night, and it got pretty cold yesterday, but it was also blowing about 50-mile-an-hour winds, so I did not hunt yesterday. Today, I'm headed in. It's still super windy, not nearly as bad as yesterday, but it's still super windy. Wind out of the northwest, which sometimes can be marginal on the food plot. For the most part, it still blows out across the edge of that pond, so all in all, I feel like we're in good shape. This is still kind of low impact because I can get in there, and the deer typically pass through on their way to the destination food. I can go out the side, not necessarily the complete back door, but I can go out the side, get back to the ranger and out of here and not really disrupt them too much. So it's chilly enough that if I got a super good opportunity, I may go ahead and harvest a doe, as we still are only in that October 22nd area of October here. So we're going to get the Mach 33 ready to roll, and we're going to get in there for this evening's hunt. That's what I like about this Trophy Ridge. Super quick. I can just get it to fit in the case, get it right back on there. It's on. It's ready to rock. So that's ready to roll. Get my release on. And like I said, we're headed into the food plot. Thanks as always for following along. Here we go. So one thing about a northwest wind when it comes to hunting the food plot, the main food plot, I shouldn't just call it the food plot. We've got multiple, but this is the main food plots. And one thing about it on a northwest wind is your entry and not buggering up too much with the wind blowing. So tonight, I drove the Ranger more towards the north end of the property, and I'm going down at an angle at it, almost to kind of not necessarily get wind in my face, but get it to my side. And I'm hoping that'll help, as that's the trickiest part of hunting the main food plot when you got that northwest wind, which is, primarily our wind in the fall. But ideally, to get in, you need a south wind, and it's basically lights out to get into that food plot. But we do what we can with that one. Like I said, it's pretty low impact, and that's one thing we still want to do, as we're only at October 22nd. The other night, when you guys saw me on the south end of the farm, on the very west end of the farm, in perfect daylight yet, was split G2 under one of my stands on the west end. Now, I know you're saying to yourself right now, Eric, why aren't you headed to that west end? Well, the wind's terrible for it. And secondly, that was at 6:09 p.m. that he was on that camera. By 3:30 in the morning, he was all the way on the east end of our farm, which is, oh my gosh, that's 1,300 yards difference that he moved. So as you can see, and he was near the food plot on that second picture at 3 in the morning. He gets around. I even chat with the neighbors, and they get him way across, even further east. So he is definitely very mobile. He doesn't have a super pinned down core area, so he's a tough one to hunt. But we've got really a handful this year of shooter bucks. We're far enough into this program with the land and the habitat and everything that a lot of our bucks are getting some age on them now. So it's fun to see things come to fruition as we roll along in the years here with all the work I do. So I'm going to head in. I'm going to get quiet now because we're on the last descent into the stand. That right there is absolutely raked. They've made that way bigger than what it was the other night. And the thing about that is I've had to practice my sharp angle shots because unfortunately we're right on top of that scrape. So I've struggled in here to find different trees, but um, it is what it is, and we just got to roll with it. But food plot, beautiful in that sunlight. So here we go. All right, we've made our way in. Um, I feel really good about the problem. Like I said, the problem with a northwest wind on hunting the food plot is it's a little tricky to get into without blowing out. Well, I shouldn't say blowing out. Maybe a touch of your wind hitting some of the bedding area, but um, a lot of times you can catch a buck on more of a marginal wind anyway. As he keeps, not always, but he'll keep his nose in the wind as well as watching. So I'll let this go. And we're not bad. We're not exactly great, but we're not bad. It's falling in right over there. There you go. So we'll take that. The only thing that could booger is maybe this little trail right here, but that takes me to scent control. There's a lot of things going around on YouTube, especially right now, with guys basically dogging on anybody that utilizes any sort of scent control. Now, I've been a big fan of scent control products I've been bow hunting for 30 years now, and I've always done something along the way as far as keeping my clothes scent free and stuff like that. And while I'll agree with the guys that are dogging on scent control online, that you'll never 100% fool a deer's nose, I also believe that I don't want to come out here smelling like I'm ready to go out on a night on the town with cologne, or smelling like laundry detergent, or things that just aren't in any nature uh, close to what they're used to smelling in the hunting property. I don't want to come down here smelling like, I got off work tonight and I'll take that extra 10 minutes, grab a quick scent-free shower with scent-free soap, be clean, take the time to keep my clothes clean, and utilize all that. Now, do I expect to fool their nose if they get downwind? I'm still going to play that wind. I'm always going to play that wind. But I like that little piece of insurance that I can utilize. I like to be able to control all the factors that I can, because there's a lot in this game that you cannot control. This is something I can control. And, honestly, if you feel like in your head and you're confident in it, that goes a long ways too. So I can see both sides of the fence. And like I said, I'm always going to play the wind, but I like to do what I can to also, if something does get downwind, maybe it ain't going to pay that much attention. I'm not coming out smelling like I just walked out of a toilet, or all, spritzed up for a night on the town. So I guess that's all I'm getting at. Do what you feel confident in as far as your scent control. I'm going to err on the side of caution and keep my clothes clean and use the scent-free soaps, deodorants, etc. So we're going to settle in. Just wanted to talk about that a little bit, and hopefully we're going to bring you some action tonight. It's a beautiful night. Even though that wind's blowing, it's fairly calm down in here, so as it usually is. Can't see it really through. There's more deer over there across the pond. I imagine they're probably going to make their way around. Typically, that's what they'll do. About 5:30 right now. It looks like they're does. And like I said earlier, if I get a really good opportunity, as cool as it's supposed to get tonight, I'd be able to hang her in the garage. So I may take an opportunity. So I'm having trouble getting them on the camera through all that back cover, but I wouldn't give up a twig of that back cover. I need it in this tree. One thing I wanted to say quick is it's really cool. I watched them deer come from way back, and I could tell they were back. They were bedding back in the hinge cut bedding area, which is very cool to me because with the habitat work we've done, back where they're now bedding, just 3 short years ago, there was nothing but open timber and sandy bottom, barely any weeds. And we've turned that little river bottom area into about a 2 acre bedding area now, which is just satisfying to see them come right up out of there like that and know that they utilized the work that we did for them. So very, very cool. Very cool. Well, it's just past 6 o'clock, 6:02. There were 4 deer in that group. I'm sorry I couldn't get footage of them that well, but they headed off to the northwest. They fed around by the pond quite a bit and got a drink, and then they headed off to the northwest. They rolled right out of here, so got about 40 minutes yet, give or take. And, hopefully we get something right out here on the plot, so it'd be a lot of fun. So. Well, as you can see, we're running out of daylight fast. I'm really kind of scratch that. we just let her have it. That got me shaking. I think I hear her going down. It was a good shot. I'll have to review the footage, but I feel like it's a great shot. I can see the Luminoc glowing, and it blasted right through her. So it seemed like it took forever there. She kind of, when I clipped my release to the string, it got her attention. I don't normally clip it that loud, but it happens. And I had to wait for her to calm down. So that's what it seemed like forever on the video. But does scent control work? Yes, it does. That doe came from straight downwind. Right as it started to get dark, the wind swirled just a little bit, and it was blowing right at that trail. So when I said earlier about control what you can control, I feel like scent control just got me that doe. So I'm gonna get down. I feel like I just listened to her crash right there. She ain't going far. It was a really good shot. So I'll follow up and finish this up once we find her. So hang with us. That was interesting. Sniffing that arrow. I'm not sure what's going on. That's another deer that came right downwind. Notice. All right, gang, here she is. Nice doe. As you can see, that rage really opened her up. Sorry about the camera angle here. I'm trying to do my best with filming solo. Poked right through, blew both lungs out. It was picture perfect how she came in. And as I was talking about scent control earlier, she came in right on the fringe of that wind, and we actually had the wind swirl a little bit right there, and she could have picked me off real easy, but I think thanks to my scent control regimen, helped me get away with a little bit. So all in all on this video, what we talked about was scent control, and I feel like I want to control what I can, and if that helps me out by having clean, good clean clothes with scent-free laundry detergent, and keeping clean with the soaps and the deodorant and stuff, by all means do it. It's not real expensive, and I think that's what actually got me this doe tonight. That's the first blood with the Mach 33, and I tell you, you saw it on the video, it blasted right through her. Using those Rage broadheads. I've used Rage broadheads since '07, and I've had really good success with them. As you can see, it opens up a channel like you wouldn't believe. Had a little bit of audio trouble as we came across the field, but you can see just watching the video, it's blood everywhere. She sprayed right from the get-go. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this episode up. October 22nd, 2025. We're going to get this doe tagged up, and we'll have some deer burger in the freezer, and now we can fully concentrate on buck hunting through the rest of this October and into November as the rut gets heated up here. Good way to get the season rolling. I'm glad to show you guys the footage. I'm glad we got the shot, and if you would hit that subscribe button. We do have a contest coming up where when we hit 500 subscribers, we are going to give away a Mossy Oak hoodie, and we would really love you to subscribe. This is a blog, like a vlog type channel. You're going to follow along through everything I do, and it's going to be dated, and some of it is... I lost my camera light. Let's get that back on. Okay, battery's too low for the flash. Talking about, okay, as we finish this up, talking about, there's the Mach 33. We're going to give away a Mossy Oak hoodie once we hit 500 subscribers. So tell your friends, tell your family, free and easy. Go on there, click subscribe, and we'll hook you up with a hoodie. We're going to draw from all 500 subscribers when we hit it. So I'm going to wrap this up. For the Edge Outdoors, Halloween's coming. Might as well get it looking weird. For the Edge Outdoors, not Edge Outdoors, it ain't been Edge Outdoors forever. For the Edge Whitetails, I'm Eric Johnston, and you can tell I'm excited. We're going to get this doe tagged up. We're going to get her out of here and get on to buck hunting. So join us for the next one. Until then, get outdoors.